Hey everybody, this is Guys Gotta Gotti. We talk about the movie Gotti. I'm assuming you've probably been watching the movie with us up to this point. If not, this is the perfect time to join in. Um, I've got my co-hosts Joe and Dennis here.
Good,
We,
good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
yeah, and you might have noticed we don't look like we normally do.
I'm Batman.
And
Scaring me, man.
and Joe, you're not actually dressed up. You said you just had an engagement later going on.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's right. Later this afternoon, I'm at the community center. I'm doing a little talk, little workshop about cultural appropriation. And when it's bad and when it's actually fun and cool to do. So
Ooh,
That'll be
yeah.
great.
That sounds
mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, it'll be great. Hopefully, I'll get Gene to record it and I'll have that posted.
Yeah, maybe we can put it in the feed or something.
Yeah,
Well,
all good info.
I have some good news. And I will try to be down there for the talks because I haven't heard, I've been on house quarantine and I haven't heard from my probation officer for like a month. And I think it, like most things in this town, it just kind of got forgotten about. So I've been kind of just going and doing whatever. Um,
Have you
I
been?
go wherever I want and do
Oh,
whatever I want, for
you've
the
just
most
been
part.
leaving. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you try to like test it, like going like a foot further every day, kind of like those shopping carts that get stuck?
So I did that at first. I was like, well, let me just try it. I'll go a little bit out of the perimeter and I'll go a little bit more and a little bit more. And honestly, had my mind was kind of wandering and I hadn't been out that far for a while and I getting distracted. And before I knew it, yeah, I had walked some 12, 13 blocks away from my house. And I was like, well, if this doesn't, tell me what I need to know, what will? So anyway, I've been enjoying my newfound freedom. I went to the costume store and just really enjoying the fall vibes and Halloween spirit vibes all around town.
I'm sure they were glad to see you again down at the store. I know it's been a little while.
Yeah, they were really welcoming and they helped me pick out a great Halloween costume, as you can see.
That's
Yeah,
excellent.
Look out,
it's
citizens! Boom!
I tell you
Yeah,
what, I was shaken up at first, Dennis. I think it was like 3 nights ago, about 3 a.m. I heard a little rattling outside, and I look out, and I'm like up by the garbage, and I'm like, "There's Batman!" And then all of a sudden, you're running away, and all I hear is, "I'll see you later, chums!"
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, Where's the quarantine officer?"
I had to,
But I guess we know.
yeah, get out there and just test it, see how well the costume will work for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I didn't see you until the last second, so your
Awesome.
prowling prowess is getting up there.
and I was really impressed with the ferocity that you were kicking my garbage cans.
Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I was really knocking the piss out of them, but that they really make a good sound, and you're one of the few people in town that still has those metal cans.
I did pay extra for those, and they're actually harder to use. I don't know why they cost more, but I sometimes you just want to go back to the way things used to be. It's kind of a symbol of uh what kind of country we used to be like. So I like to have those around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you don't see Norman Rockwell paintings with all these big plastic bins on them, or things like this. It's a classic American metal. And when someone throws that at you from a patio or something and you get hit, you feel it, and so does the whole block. You get a great sound out of those.
Yeah, do you ever think maybe your trouble with those is coming from the fact that you're kind of using the lid as a shield, when you're
Oh yeah, the shield. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do take the lid when I go to the park with my community group that I've told you guys about. And we bring our shields and our you can bring a sword. Personally, I don't use a sword. I have a lance. But we kind of bang them around. It's a good way to get the energy out, and it's a good way to meet people. Um, I I haven't necessarily met anybody yet that I feel like um introducing to you guys yet, but that's okay. Um, it's just good fun. Does mess up the trash cans though.
well, speaking of getting down to the park, I just would be remiss if I didn't mention how much the town has embraced the Halloween holiday spirit. And I was just the other day, I was leaving Kroger and I noticed a thing, and this was really fun. And it was kind of like a game these people were playing. I noticed a man, and he was in this crazy costume. He had on these wild just clothes. It was all these layers of clothing, and he's like this. He probably had on like three or four pair of pants, and he had really weathered down by the hem, by his shoe. And I watched him, and I was like, "Look at this guy! This costume is crazy." Well, I saw him. He noticed a single woman leaving the Kroger, and he watched her get into his car, and then he followed her home and watched her go inside his house. And I followed him the whole time too because I was like, I got to see how this goes. And then by sundown, he was still like kind of hiding outside of the house. I guess he was waiting to play some kind of a Halloween prank. But it was really fun to notice, and it's just the kind of thing I like to see happen here in town when it's spooky season.
Commitment to the kind of the bit, it's hard to find that these days, people that really dedicate themselves to um kind of the craft of a good scare.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
People are
I
having
mean,
so much fun.
again fun. It's funny you mention that, Dennis. That character, exhibitionist guy you're talking about. I think I've seen him too outside at Kroger's. Um, I I followed him too, but
Getting in the
he
spirit.
like yeah, I was like, oh, this guy, I'm gonna follow this guy. There's gonna be a show at the end of this, right? He's either gonna start juggling or something, or like you said, like maybe break into someone's house or something. But I was just like, I gotta see what this guy's up to. But I'm not Batman. He could tell I was following him, and he threw something at my car. Um, and it took the paint right off of whatever it was, or whatever it hit it. So I kind of took that as a sign. But yeah, I can't wait to see that. As soon as the closer we get to Halloween, I bet the guy's just going to get more and more fun and crazy. So keep an
I hope
eye,
so.
Austin. If you see this guy,
Yeah,
drop what you're doing.
I'll be I'll be on the watch. I mean, I love good prank, but it's not so fun when you're the target. So I'll be
Hey,
keeping my eyes open.
If
message
you need
received.
something to protect your car, I have one of Austin's trash can lids that we could like nail on there or bolt on there or
That's a
something.
good idea. Maybe I'll kind of build like a maybe just like tape them to the sides. And that would maybe protect it in parking lots as well. In case any shopping carts kind of ding it.
Yeah.
Yeah, some like sort of armor. Never thought of that. Car armor, but that could work. I follow people a lot that don't like me following them. So
Hmm.
it's not it happens. But it's
Well,
Halloween.
yeah. So speaking of, we always talk about the movie Gotti, and there's a famous Halloween scene in the movie where John Gotti, played by John Travolta, he's very unhappy about the costume that his child is wearing. We all are familiar with this scene. Um, on the surface, it's very easy to say, well, he didn't like it because his kid was being a cop, and he doesn't like police because he's a crime person. But on a recent rewatch, I really got the sense that for just a second, and this is speaks to how well of a performance that Travolta does. I think Gotti thought like the they were closing in on him. You know what I mean? He saw a uniform first before he saw his son.
Yeah,
I
he definitely probably thought for a second his son was an actual cop, and then had to kind of like make up like the other stuff about like, oh no, I wasn't really like when you're like if a moth scares you and you think it's a bee, and you're like, oh, it's a
Mm-hmm.
moth. But it's like, oh, but you get pissed at that moth though.
Yeah.
yeah, and I've been thinking about this a little bit. I is it Gotti, um, for the criminal mastermind he is. I don't think he was kind of doing the stuff that he was doing, um, because he hated cops. I think he kind of loved the game of it because of the cops. You
Hmm.
kind of know what I'm saying? Like if they weren't there to not try to stop him from uh doing his stuff, um I don't know that he would have enjoyed doing it as much as he did. So I think he tells his son not to wear that costume. I think he was putting up a front because that's kind of the game you have to play with in this business.
Well, that's a good theory. Um, what would be the fun of organized crime if if there's potentially no punishment involved? Where's the thrill? Yeah.
It, uh, we kind of started with our analysis of Gotti and like kind of what brought us together. We kind of understand him to be this Robin Hood and like everyone loves him and he does Fourth of July and all that kind of thing. But I mean, the more we kind of sit with it, these other themes start to come out. Like yeah, like the thought of him enjoying doing crime, really? But yeah, right? He seems to like the to be bad, you know? And he at Fourth of July he could have thrown those cops on the barbecue, but he kind of they have their fun kind of back and forth, and they kind of realize what the real situation is, So I don't know. We keep doing this show, and I keep learning things, and sometimes it's scary, but that's I just want to say that's a great observation, Austin. That's all I have to say about that.
And as we talk about this more, it just really kind of bums me out that they never did Gotti 2, and seemingly have no interest of doing it at any point. As far as I can tell, there's been nothing else on Gotti. So this is the one movie we got, and we just kind of got to pick it apart for what we can.
Yeah.
And I think we're doing a pretty fine job of that.
And hopefully one day we'll get our Little Gotti's cartoon going. And even though no one's interested or wants to do it, I don't think that should stop us from writing episodes. So
Yeah. I
um,
agree.
we'll keep going that with that.
Is there any other scary movies that you guys have been watching, or for tis the season?
Oh boy. Well, how about no, not really. No,
Do you have one in
No.
mind, Dennis?
Well, I did watch it was very good and scary movie. It was called 13 Ghosts. And the reason I watched it was because the main character's name was Dennis. And I thought that could be
Okay.
exciting. And it was really fun. It was I mean, you get sort of lost in thought and get confused for a couple times. Well, I did, but whatever. Anyway,
Well,
the
they're
reason
saying sometimes they're saying Dennis, and you're like, oh, that they're talking to me, and they're, oh no, it's
they're
the
talking,
movie.
it's the TV.
It's understandable.
So there was a ghost, and the ghost was called Johnny Gambino, and he was a criminal. Can you believe that? That's not
Wow,
there's that can't be coincidental.
you might be onto something here.
I wonder how often these characters that we, learned about in Gotti are being referenced in other movies that we don't even haven't even realized yet.
That's a good
Was
thought, but we've kind of we've kind of got our work cut out for us just with this one movie, and I can't imagine trying to like dig through other ones to figure all this stuff out. Maybe if the listeners have time, I don't know.
If anybody knows any other reference to any character from the movie Gotti or Gotti's life, and they're referenced in another movie, even in a very small sense, please let us know as soon as you can.
well, I've got to see this 13 Ghosts now. Um, man, does did he look like our guy?
No, he was a pretty disfigured ghost, and he had like all his limbs cut off and stuff. Um, so no, I mean, but people take artistic license with these things. There's no telling, in the first draft of the script what he looked like compared to what ended up on the screen. Nobody. I know that we're used to seeing something that sticks really close to the source material and watching Gotti when they have Gotti, his Fourth of July parties, his tiny bed, his kids, his wife, and all those his friends, and we know all those things are pretty accurate. But oftentimes, like we talked about in Dune, two, you go from a worm to a snake and a snake to a worm, or you got a guy, he's got all his arms and legs, and then by the time it hits the final draft, he has no arms, he has no legs, he's a ghost, all that kind of stuff.
And what was this the scary part that he like his closest friends and the cops were kind of circling in on this guy? Is that what made the movie scary?
Um, well, yeah, in a sense. So replace the cops with like ghost hunters, and then replace Gotti with like a guy who wants to essentially have ghosts hurt people, and then maybe
That is
put
chilling.
Dennis in there as a John Gotti Jr. who's kind of conflicted with the whole thing.
Wow. That's now you kind of got me interested to watch this thing.
It's not
Yeah,
bad.
it's a different sounds like a different kind of Gotti kind of movie where it's not the scary part isn't the disloyalty or wiretaps. It's exorcisms
Yeah,
and sage.
and the ghosts are scary.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't watch any scary movies per se. But something scary in my life is that I've kind of come under crippling amounts of debt through various investments. I've told you guys a little bit about that, but they seem to have kind of um, realized themselves all at once. But I'm taking the proper steps. In the past month, I've enrolled in Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. It's honestly been one of the best decisions of my life. I can already feel the debt falling off of my shoulders. Um, and it's a really cool concept where you kind of prioritize your payments. You take your higher interest stuff and you kind of pay that off first, and then um, work your way down. And um, You don't use your credit cards ever. I've actually cut those up, so those should be taken care of now, and hopefully they stop calling me now that I've cut them up. Um, so I'm feeling great. It was scary for a little while, but things are going really well for me. I'd like to bring you guys into a meeting sometimes. I think you could probably learn a lot. It's really good info. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to lately.
Uh,
So you make the payments, right? And then the debt goes down, is what you said?
Yeah, so you kind of find all your things that are uh taking money out of you, and you try to pay those down, because the higher interest stuff is going to cost more per month. So you pay that off first, um
So then there's less
so that
interest total.
that's right. You're catching on pretty quick.
Huh.
So it's a really good system, I think. I'm trying to get some of the guys there to watch Gotti with me. I think kind of like a give and take. They're showing me something, trying to give a little back to them.
um,
I think I think that's the
wh-
least you could do. Yeah.
yeah. Now, if they if you show them the movie, I don't know. That's a pretty alpha move. These guys may retreat from sharing information with you.
I hope not.
I would,
I hope they
you know,
share more.
Yeah, I mean we've had people sort of disengage from our personal lives from this one way or another, but um yeah, people can be a little skittish, and if these guys are, but it's also a test, I guess, too.
Yeah,
If they don't pass the test, I don't know.
what's the thing you have going with the highest interest?
we. I kind of don't want to talk about it.
Is it the Stevie Ray Vaughan pool table or? Oh,
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
want to talk about it.
I know, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Um, well, that sounds great,
yeah. I
Austin.
hope that works out for you. So you make the more you pay, the lower the interest gets.
That's right.
And if you, but what if you buy more thing? So what if you, but you
Well,
don't, so you don't do that.
that's the
You try
thing.
not to do
I've
that?
stopped
Probably,
buying things, and
yeah.
it has really helped. Now that I don't really pay for any food, it's made a huge difference in my life.
And you made that cape.
That's right. This is a tablecloth. I had to kind of scrounge around for something, and just took what was off the table and kind of clipped it to form, and I think it turned out pretty good.
It's
Actually,
not the
really
pool
good.
table cover, is it?
Uh,
Because that
w
thing is majestic. Please don't say you cut it up.
The felt. No, you can't. You can't.
um, yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Um, but we just have a couple minutes left. So I thought I would maybe try something new here. Um, just to wrap things up. What are you guys going to be doing in your life to kind of improve yourself financially? I think I'm going to be cutting the cord, cutting kind of cable subscriptions, stuff like that. And actually, the best part is I didn't even have cable in the first place, so I'm already ahead on that.
All right. Um, I think that I could have a garage sale.
Hey, that's great.
Is that good? I'll have a garage sale.
Uh, I think I'll probably get some new credit cards. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Then I'll be able to spend more. Oh no, wait, then I would have to, yeah, you're okay.
Well, what you can do is you get the new credit cards and then you cut them up, and then they can't get
Oh,
you
right.
anymore.
Then they can't
Right.
bother anybody, in
That's
fact.
right.
Right. Okay. And then yeah, so I'll have those. I mean, I won't have them, but then I won't have the debt.
You take them out of
That's right.
circulation by cutting
Okay,
them
so
up.
I
Hmm,
gotcha.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
All
this
right.
is kind of now you're paying it forward.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That,
Tell
yeah.
these Ramses guys about this because we kind of stumbled upon a thing here, I think.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll try sharing that before I share Gotti, just to kind of ease myself in.
Yeah, I'd like to pick their brains. Like a zombie, huh? Halloween.
Well, I think that about wraps up this episode. We just want to thank you for watching and listening to Guys Gotta Gotti. We really appreciate it, and I really want to thank Dave Ramsey for your support. Um, you're really making a big difference in my life, and I can't imagine I would still be here if you weren't doing your work. So it goes. Don't always say it, but um, really appreciate it.
Stay
Yeah.
safe. Stay safe out there, chums.
I almost just looked out. Oh, is he out? Is he outside? No, it's just right here. Yeah. A happy Halloween, everyone, and uh, Dave Ramsey and everyone. Great, wonderful.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.